24-year-old Derricka Ross is behind bars for fatally shooting 22-year-old Javian Williams. At 9:14 p.m. on Sunday the 25th of May, authorities responded to Derby at Steeplechase apartment complex at 11220 West Road in Houston, Texas, after receiving a 911 call about a disturbance, and about 5 minutes later they received reports of shots fired at the same apartment. When deputies arrived at the scene at 9:23 p.m, they found Javian deceased by a stairwell outside the apartment building with a gunshot wound. After speaking to several people who reportedly witnessed the entire incident, detectives identified Derricka as the suspect in the shooting. Authorities said that Derricka and Javian were in a dating relationship, and Javian returned to their apartment to get his belongings, and the two got into an argument when Derricka shot him. Authorities arrested Derricka that night and located the gun believed to be used in the killing. She's charged with murder and is held at the Harris County Jail on a $150,000 bond. A 33-year-old man is behind bars for setting the mother of his child on fire. On the 28th of April, Delvon Terrell Stone of 1948 Barrel Street in Toledo, Ohio, doused the woman with gasoline and ignited it, causing severe burns to her body. The victim, whose name has not been released, required surgery as part of her treatment for the injuries. On the 23rd of May, Delvon was arrested after investigators spoke to the victim about what happened. He's charged with aggravated arson, felonious assault and domestic violence, and he was booked into the Lucas County Jail. On the 27th of May, Delvon was arraigned in the Toledo Municipal Court, where his bond was set at $250,000. He was also assigned a public defender. A temporary protection order was filed on behalf of the victim. Delvon is scheduled to appear in court for a preliminary hearing on the 3rd of June. Authorities said that Delvon has at least 2 prior convictions for domestic violence. A 35-year-old woman is behind bars for stabbing a 12-year-old daughter in the face and neck and trying to conceal her body even though she was still alive. On the afternoon of Monday the 26th of May, authorities responded to the Cecil Webb Wildlife Management Area in Punta Gorda, Florida, in reference to a girl with lacerations who was found by people passing by. When deputies arrived, they found the victim to be weak and in need of immediate medical attention. The victim told deputies that her mother, identified as Gwendolyn Girard, had attacked her with a knife and tried to hide her under the brush before she fled in a gold-coloured van. The Lee County Sheriff's Office located Gwendolyn's vehicle in North Fort Myers, and she was taken in for questioning. Major crime detectives interviewed Gwendolyn and obtained a full confession to include the location of the knife used in the attack. She was booked into the Lee County Jail on a $750,000 bond and will be extradited to Charlotte County, where she faces charges of aggravated battery and aggravated child abuse. Authorities said that the victim has been treated for her wounds and is in a stable condition. The victim's grandmother said that her granddaughter is a brave little girl. She said she fought her mother off as long as she could, and then she played dead, and then her mother left her there. 46-year-old Kristy Crampton has been arrested at an airport in Sanford, Florida, after she repeatedly hit a child on a plane. The incident occurred at just before 2 p.m. on Monday the 26th of May, while Kristy was on board an Allegiant's flight from Orlando Sanford International Airport to Hagerstown, Maryland. Kristy was set to fly home with her family after the Disney World vacation when the boy started to call her fat and Miss Piggy. He then told her that she couldn't fit in the airplane seat. Witnesses reported Kristy began hitting the child with her fist and hit him on the head with a water bottle. She then slammed his head into the airplane window, and the child used his arms to cover his head. Authorities have not said how old the boy is, but Kristy said the child was very rude and disrespectful during their trip to Disney. After the child called her fat, Kristy told police she took his phone away. She said he pushed her arms off the armrest twice, and that's when he smacked him in the face. Authorities said that she went beyond typical disciplinary actions. One witness said the woman was not correcting the child, she was abusing him. Sanford Airport police arrested Kristy outside an airport gate after the pilot requested for law enforcement. She's charged with cruelty toward a child by abuse without great bodily harm. On Tuesday the 27th of May, Kristy appeared in front of a Seminole County judge who granted her a $10,000 bond. The judge ordered her to have no contact with the child. A 42-year-old Florida man has been killed after he charged at police officers with garden shears and attempted to steal a gun from a patrol vehicle. At just before 6 a.m. on Monday the 26th of May, authorities received a call from Racetrack gas station at 6486 South Florida Avenue in Lakeland, Florida about a man, later identified as 42-year-old Timothy Patrick Shulz, behaving erratically. The caller told dispatch that there's a guy in here, and he's bizarre, and he's shaking and asking to call his son. When deputies arrived, the man had already left, and they began searching for him for about 40 minutes. At 7:43 a.m., authorities received another call about a man in an alligator-infested lake, just off Lake Clark Court. One witness tried to throw the man a life preserver, but he wouldn't take it. Another said they tried to talk to him, but said the guy growled at me, so I ran into the house and locked the door. As deputies arrived, Timothy exited the lake and found a pair of garden shears. After throwing a rock at a truck, he charged at police officers while brandishing the garden shears. Deputies tried to de-escalate, backing up and ordered Timothy to drop the shears. They also tried to tase him twice, but he continued to charge. He then climbed into the passenger side of a running patrol vehicle and was trying to get the rifle or shotgun out of the holder. The deputies then shot Timothy multiple times, killing him. They noted that his right arm had fresh alligator bite marks. Authorities said that Timothy has a long history of methamphetamine-related arrests. 32-year-old Valerie Zamora is behind bars following the death of her 20-month-old son Jose Zamora. On the night of the 15th of May, Valerie brought Jose to the lobby of Sanford Medical Center in Fargo, North Dakota. Hospital staff noted the boy was pale, clammy and cold, and did not have a pulse. Life-saving measures were performed, but were unsuccessful, and he was pronounced dead at 11:05 p.m. An autopsy showed the boy died from complications of a blunt force injury due to an assault, noting contusions all over his body, a perforated bowel, hemorrhages to the liver and pancreas, rib fractures and a distended belly. The Ramsey County Medical Examiner's Office ruled his death a homicide. Valerie told police she lives at 1106 18th Street South in Moorhead, Minnesota, about 6 miles from the hospital, with her partner and 3 children, and that Jose had been vomiting on the morning of the 15th of May. She said she gave him Tylenol and Gatorade, then ran errands with the children and her partner. She said that Jose basically slept all day and was not himself, and was breathing differently. She told her partner that she'll take him to a doctor, but on the way to the hospital, she stopped at a Walmart in Dilworth to buy Pedialyte, while the boy and her partner stayed in the vehicle. Surveillance video from Walmart showed them arriving at the store at 11:12 p.m. that night. While she was inside the store, her partner came in to tell her that the boy was throwing up blood. At that point, she said she sped to the hospital. When questioned about the boy's bruising, she told investigators that the child bruised easily. Authorities said that she changed her story regarding how ill the child was before the hospital visit. She eventually said that the child had started throwing up on the 14th of May, and that the vomit material was normal, but then changed to a black or dark substances, and that he couldn't keep any liquids down. Witnesses told police that they had seen the boy at various times on the 15th of May, and had urged Valerie to take him to a hospital. One of Valerie's other children told investigators that she felt that the child needed immediate medical care when she got home from school that afternoon, but Valerie said she would wait until her partner came home from work. Valerie told police she never hurt the boy, but was afraid to take him in for medical care because it was obviously neglect, and she feared social services would take her children away. Valerie was arrested in Fargo, North Dakota, and is charged with second-degree unintentional murder. She was held at the Cass County Jail, but has since been extradited back to the Clay County Jail in Minnesota, where she remains held on a $1 million bond. A tattoo artist is facing multiple charges for allegedly sexually assaulting his clients. 44-year-old Christopher Ardoin, who was charged with 1 count of third-degree sexual assault and 4 counts of fourth-degree sexual assault. Authorities said that Christopher was employed at Skin Prints at 403 Farewell Street in Eau Claire, Wisconsin. 2 of the 3 victims reported to police that Christopher touched them inappropriately during tattoo sessions. The 3rd victim worked with him. All the incidents happened between March of 2024 and February of 2025. Christopher was fired after one of the victims told the owners of Skin Prints what happened. On the morning of Wednesday, the 28th of May, Christopher appeared in the Eau Claire County Court for an initial appearance. He posted the $1,000 cash bond. Judge John Thiessen ordered that the conditions of his bond include that Christopher cannot tattoo anyone without a third-party witness present. He must also give a copy of the criminal complaint to any clients before he tattoos them. If convicted on all the charges, Christopher faces up to 13 years in prison. 18-year-old Jacob Fields is charged with murder in the shooting death of 42-year-old Tiffany Adkins. At around 12:10 a.m. on Tuesday the 27th of May, authorities responded to Sheet's gas station at 5623 McCorkle Avenue in Charleston, West Virginia, on reports of a shooting. When officers arrived, they found Tiffany unresponsive in the parking lot with a gunshot wound to her head. She was rushed to a local hospital, where she was pronounced dead. Authorities identified Jacob as a suspect in the shooting, and he was taken into custody. While questioned, Jacob told detectives that he was wiping down the barrel of his gun while sitting in the car with another person when it accidentally went off. He was initially charged with wanton endangerment and involuntary manslaughter, but after police reviewed surveillance footage from Sheets, investigators claimed he intentionally shot Tiffany, and the charges were upgraded to first-degree murder the next day. Authorities said that Tiffany's car was parked at a gas pump. She got out of her car to pump gas, and then started to walk toward the front door of the store. While she passed in front of Jacob's car, the gun discharged inside his vehicle. Police said that the bullet passed through Jacob's front windshield and struck Tiffany in the back of the head. Authorities said that Jacob looked toward Tiffany, waited for her to enter his field of fire and raised his pistol with both hands, pointing it in Tiffany's direction. Police said a muzzle flash can be seen on the video, along with the front windshield glass being shattered. Tiffany collapsed to the ground moments later. Jacob reportedly admitted to pointing the gun at Tiffany after he was shown the video evidence. Investigators said there was no indication that Jacob and Tiffany had any kind of altercation before the shooting. Jacob remains held at the South Central Regional Jail with bond denied. A preliminary hearing is scheduled for the 4th of June. The motive of the killing is unclear, as investigation into the matter continues. A 25-year-old woman is behind bars for shooting a man. At just after 5 p.m. on Monday the 26th of May, authorities responded to the Bridgeview Village Apartments complex along North Romney Street in Charleston, South Carolina, on reports of shots fired. When officers arrived, they found a man had been shot. The victim, who has not been identified, was taken to a local hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. During the investigation, detectives identified 25-year-old Teamoni Malloy as the shooting suspect. Authorities said that Teamoni and the male suspect are known to each other, and Teamoni went to the apartment complex with the intent to physically assault him. Teamoni was arrested and charged with attempted murder and possession of a weapon during a violent crime, and she was booked into the El Cannon Detention Center. 20-year-old Vianney Alyssa Acosta has been arrested after a 1-year-old nephew inhaled smoke from a THC vape and became intoxicated. On Friday the 16th of May, authorities responded to a residence in the 13200 block of Walker Post Avenue in El Paso, Texas, after receiving a call of a 1-year-old having trouble breathing. When deputies arrived, they described the baby boy as appearing lethargic and having glassy eyes. The deputies then spoke with the relatives of the child, who said they were taking care of the child while his mother was at work, when they heard the child coughing, and the grandmother saw him with a THC vape in his hands. Deputies then spoke to Vianney, who reportedly admitted that the THC vape was hers, but she thought it was empty, not charged, and out of reach from the child. The child's father was also home when the incident happened. He was reportedly working on a car outside, unaware of what happened until deputies arrived at the home. When speaking with deputies, he said that the grandmother and the aunt were supposed to be watching the child. The baby was taken to a local hospital, where after a urine test, authorities identified the child had THC in his system. On Thursday the 22nd of May, Vianney was arrested and charged with drug possession and endangerment of a child, and she was booked into the El Paso County Jail. Later that day, she was released after posting a $6,000 bond. It's unclear if anyone else watching the child is facing charges for this incident. The investigation into the matter continues. On Tuesday the 27th of May 2025, 24-year-old Gyasi Stribling appeared at the Oakland County Circuit Court in Michigan and was sentenced to 40 to 60 years in prison for first-degree murder in the fatal shooting of his 8-year-old sister Bailey Singleton in 2021. Gyasi also received an additional 2 years for a felony firearm charge in connection with the killing. On the 3rd of January 2021, Gyasi shot his sister in the head in the living room of their home at 12 North Apartments Complex in Southfield, Michigan, because she was talking back to him. She was rushed to hospital in a critical condition and succumbed to injuries days later. Gyasi told police that his sister was shot during a break-in. 2 witnesses at the home told a different story. Gyasi also attempted to hide the murder weapon, but police later found it. Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald said after he was found guilty in April, Bailey should still be here with us today. Her murder was a tragedy for her family. It's unconscionable that anyone, let alone an 8-year-old child, could be murdered by a relative and in their own home over the slightest disagreements. This case is unfortunately a reminder of how gun violence is a public health epidemic that can end a life in an instant.